IPIX is a technology developed by Interactive Pictures Corporation, formerly known as OmniView, that allows users to create and view 360-degree panoramic photographs. Originally called Photo Bubble, IPIX images are created by stitching together two hemispherical shots taken through a fisheye lens. The result is a spherical panoramic image. IPIX video and photography solutions and services are designed to get you to the cutting edge of media, where nothing gets off camera, and where viewers can control the view on both live and archived media. IPIX also has webcam and live video applications in the works. A webcam that can take live IPIX shots is in beta. A daycare center could post those images on its site so that parents could look in on their kids during the day. Other websites could post ad-supported traffic updates. IPIX also expects the webcams to be popular with travel destinations that want to transmit live pictures of their attractions. The current is live IPIX video, which IPIX has dubbed 5360. Imagine IPIX cameras planted throughout place, letting viewers focus on whichever area of the court most interests them, whether it is the power forward or the cheerleaders.
To view an IPIX, a standalone IPIX viewer is needed or a plugin that works within another application, such as a web browser. The IPIX plugin is the software that gives the web browser the capability to view IPIX images within web pages. IPIX, however, also own patents on technology applicable to security and surveillance. IPIX developed 360 by 360 degree immersion navigation into a camera and software system that allows remote control of digital panning, tilting and zoom functions. The system can be integrated with other surveillance technology for detecting motion and monitoring room temperature and alarm systems. To create an IPIX images, products from IPIX are needed to combine with basic DSLR camera. IPIX turns Nikon and Canon DSLR camera into a documentation machine to capture an entire scene in 2 or 3 shots, post-produce it, or deliver it interactively. There are several products produced by IPIX such as Nikon Kit and Pro Kit. The kit consisted of the camera body, a 185-degree fisheye lens, a 2 or 3 shot rotator, a full-height tripod, a system case and also a custom die-cut foam. Other than that, IPIX software is also needed. IPIX software and services such as Interactive Studio let users create, manage and distribute the 360 content, whether IPIX images, or video, whether live or on demand.
The IPIX format was for a time a widely used virtual image type for hotel and real estate websites. IPIX Interactive Studio could create IPIX's proprietary format, QuickTime cubic VR images, acquire rectangular and cylindrical projections, as JPEGs that could be viewed with Helmut Dersch's freeware Java PT Viewer, Shockwave W3D files, VRML files and 10-3D files. 2 plugins are available that can create images in the RealVise format and IC Media's Photo Vista format. IPIX file format can only work using IPIX software. The IPIX file type cannot be converted to any other file format. This is usually the case of system, configuration, temporary, or data files containing data exclusive to only one software and used for its own purposes. Also, some proprietary or closed file formats cannot be converted to more common file types, in order to protect the intellectual property of the developer, which is for example the case of some DRM-protected multimedia files. For IPIX licensing, the proprietary IPIX software IPIX Wizard could seam any number of fisheyes or retouched fisheyes into a IPIX, and would only allow viewing of the image for quality control purposes. When the user wanted to save the IPIX file, he or she would spend an IPIX key.
The problems that court might be facing without IPIX is when they only rely on the regular pictures with negative base which have taken by the investigating officer. Well, By using that method, it is presumed to have lots of pictures and letting the court to get a clearer view on what the case is about, but due to technology, IPIX, which known as an interactive media, may create a wider view and a clearer pictures on how the court manage the cases. It may lead the court in a well manner where the court may clearly inform and observe the premise or situation besides in order to get an accurate judgment about the evidence laid in the premise. Without the technology of using IPIX, it may create confusion to the court about the arrangement inside the premise. The court will confuse with all sorts of things in the crime scene because probably the arrangement and the premise are most likely the same. It may be hard for the court or judge to determine which is the exact place the crime had happened. The regular pictures which come with negative based only shows one view per picture. It only shows the certain part of which the picture was taken by an investigating officer. This creates difficulties for the court to determine the premise or crime scene by just looking at one picture. The judge/court need to look into detail over a picture in order to decide the relevant parts of pictures which are useful for the case. It only shows the overall or overview of the premise. This will further require the court to need a lot of pictures to observe the exact overview of the premise to determine what has exactly happened and get to know the evidence exist in the premise. IPIX may help the court to get a closer look about the premise and can create imagination where the judge is at the premise himself. Regular pictures, as all of us know that it is costly in terms of money and time. This can be seen where the investigating officer needs to take all the relevant pictures in the crime scene, which is very time-consuming. The officer may take hundreds of pictures and later on choose the best one. This results in delaying the process for a court trial. Besides, when the pictures are produced to the court, it is difficult for the judge to concentrate which part of the picture they have to focus on, because the judge need to flip over here and there to observe the pictures which are relevant to the case. So it will be wasting of time.
The IPIX has the ability to capture the camera angle simultaneously. This technology will allow the judges to obtain a clearer picture on what might happen at the crime scene. In a trial, the judge can only rely on evidence and photographs of the crime scene, and only from that, the judge must try to make an inference, what might happen based on the evidence and the testimony given by the witness. It is a daunting task for the judges to achieve that with the limited information that they have from just looking at the photographs, which are captured by a normal camera. However, the existence of the IPIX technology allows the judge to look at the crime scene as a whole and not only a part of the crime scene. They can also see the bigger pictures, meaning that they can actually see where did the evidence was discovered, the condition of the evidence and so on. The IPIX technology would prove vital in helping the prosecutor to show proof that the evidence has not been tampered. Another technology, which is available on IPIX, is the IPIX archival benefit. This technology is used when IPIX media is played back. The camera angle may be interactively controlled, as if going back in time and space to the archived event. Imagine being able to go back and review historic events caught on videotape, but with the added ability to re-aim the camera after the fact. This would be extremely helpful in helping the judge to understand the layout crime scene better through a much more easy process, by looking through the video from IPIX. This method is easier and efficient rather than relying on a sketch, which is drawn by the investigating officer. This method could also avoid human errors. The prosecution side would not have to produce all the printed photograph, instead they would be able to produce all of the important photographs in a CD and produce it in the court. This method is more conventional and is more appropriate for the current era, because it is applying the technologies which are under our disposal. This would be more efficient, and will be less costly than producing all of the photographs taken at the crime scene for the court.
Dr. Doriana Mohammed has written an article entitled Computer Evidence Issues and Challenges in the Future. Based on the decision in Public Prosecutor v. Ong Cheng Hyong, where the witness claimed no responsibility for the computer printout produced by him, the court has rejected the evidence. Thus, the most important elements that should be fulfilled are the printout from the computer should be produced in the course of its ordinary use, and the person who makes or tenders the document is the person responsible for that output. If he presents in court, there is no need for the certificate, as his oral testimony is sufficient and shall be admissible as evidence. The first challenge that was pointed out was to locate computer evidence. Usually, specific software is used to locate and retrieve any data from computer systems. If the case is criminal in nature, the police investigation officer, with the assistance of the computer expert and forensic expert, will do the investigation and detection of computer evidence before the retrieval of data from the seized computer. The challenge in the process of investigation is the IO must ensure that there is no break in the chain of evidence collected. The second challenge that has been addressed by the article is the recovery and discovery of the computer evidence and the right to privacy. Procedurally, the recovery of data may be made using the discovery method. Caution must be exercised during this process, since the parties may challenge the method used to recover the data. Among the issues are the violation of privacy and privilege information. These two issues can be settled if the discovery of data is done according to the law, which are Section 239 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998 and Section 79 of the Digital Signature Act 1997.
The third challenge is the new technology, new technique and new tools used by criminals to commit crimes in cyberspace. In order to tackle these challenges, the investigator and forensic expert need to use and apply appropriate searching mechanism, such as using abstraction layer, correct digital forensic analysis tools, and be prepared to adopt new techniques to search for the computer data or digital evidence. The fourth challenge is improving the reliability, authenticity, accuracy and admissibility of computer evidence. Since documents in electronic format have a number of features, and in some cases the evidence are available in various places, proper security procedures and mechanisms are needed to protect the integrity of the electronic evidence. Jurisdictional issue also was addressed by the article as one of the challenges in gathering and proving computer evidence. The challenge is to gather the evidence, investigate and prosecute the suspect, who is living in another country but committing the offense in Malaysia. Since Internet is one of the sources of computer evidence, determining the law governing such evidence is sometimes very challenging. Although there are laws governing transborder crimes in the cyber world, the enforcement of international law and international cooperation is not easy to achieve. The last challenge that was addressed by the article is that the law may be outdated since the technology develops very fast, but the law needs time for review and updates.
As IPIX allows the users to record videos and stores visual documents, it falls within the definition of computer as provided by Section 3 of the Evidence Act 1950. Section 62 of the EA 1950 provides that primary evidence means the document itself produced for the inspection of the court, and Explanation 3 of the section provides that a document produced by a computer is primary evidence. Hence, according to these provisions, any IPIX output or printout is admissible as documentary evidence and primary evidence in court. Since IPIX is a digital item that amounts to computer within this Act, which also functions to save and record data in video or image format, IPIX is also subject to the Computer Crimes Act 1997. When dealing with computer-generated documents, a distinction between original and copies cannot be established. A further problem with computer evidence is that it can be easily altered without leaving any obvious trace of its alteration. Thus, Rules for admissibility and the probative or prejudicial value to be attached to such evidence should be addressed. Section 90A1 provides that the document is admissible if it was produced by the computer in the course of its ordinary use. The section also provides for the manner of establishing this condition. Subsection 2 deals with the certificate should be tendered to prove that the document was produced by a computer in the course of its ordinary use. Subsections 3 and 4 deal with the evidential effect of such a certificate. The manner of establishing this condition has been prescribed. It can be proved by tendering in evidence a certificate as stipulated by S90A2 read with S96A3. Once the certificate is tendered in evidence, the presumption contained in S90A4 is activated to establish that the computer referred to in the certificate was in good working order and was operating properly in all respects throughout the material part of the period during which the document was produced. With regard to the need to tender in evidence the certificate, it was held that since S90A uses the word may, a certificate need not be produced in every case. It was held that these matters could be proved by the tendering of oral evidence to show that the document was produced by a computer, thereby activating the presumption in Section 90A6 to show that the document was produced by the computer in the ordinary course of its use, or, alternatively, by the production of a certificate to establish the same presumed fact. In other words, S90A6 has been construed only as an alternative mode of proof to the use of a certificate.
Basically, IPIX is very practical to be used in Malaysia's courts, especially for evidence law, as it would surely assist the court when it involves photography evidence. As been discussed before, by using IPIX as sort of evidence will surely have more pros than cons. But, we have to be reminded, that to implement this kind of new technology into our judiciary system, a lot of improvement need to be done. Yet the technology develops very fast, but the law needs time for review and updates. Nonetheless, this does not mean there must be a new law in every new technology. Traditional law can still be used, but with some modifications and updated. Further, the Law Reform Committee must be aware about the new development in cyber attacks. Computer data or any data in electronic media may be recovered by many ways using specific software. Procedurally, the recovery of data may be made using the discovery method. This method of discovery is used to discover relevant documents kept by the other party in his computer or any places, and believed to be relevant to the case. In this regard, the parties to the case may either mutually agree to exchange the documents in their possession, or may comply with the court order for discovery. Order 24 of the Malaysian Rules of the High Court 1980 allows this process, even though there is no specific provision for discovery of computer evidence or electronic evidence in the Rules of the High Court and other rules of court. However, caution must be exercised during this process, since the parties may challenge the method used to recover the data. The admissibility of computer forensic evidence is not specifically stated in the Evidence Act 1950, but Section 45(1) of the Act recognizes the opinion of persons specially skilled in science. Their opinions are considered as relevant facts. Technology can change the landscape, and the method of proving computer evidence, as in our case here, will surely be the IPIX. Thus, the law should be able to cope with the technological changes. In future, there may be more complicated cases, and the computer evidence will surely be helpful to cope with these challenges. The fear is that suspect can just escape from any liability due to inadequacy in the laws and lack of technological advancement. Hence, setting up an IPIX, as a pioneer in evidence law involving modern technology, will be a great stepping stone in our judiciary system, and at the same time, there must also be continuous update of the laws and regulations.